My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. We talk all things talent in Connecticut. And on today's show, I'm having a guest that going way back, going to the way back machine, played for Torrington a number of years ago, was a part of a very successful team, making it all the way to the quarterfinals to face Wethersfield back in the 2015-2016 season, and had a great career at Stonehill. And now he's a part of the fan-controlled football league, which we'll get into. Nate Bresson, a dominant defensive lineman. Nate, pleasure to be able to have you on here, especially too being an NVL guy. Welcome.
Hey, appreciate you having me. It's nice being on the show.
You know, Nate, obviously, there's so much to talk about. We have such a short amount of time. So before we get into obviously the nit and grit kind of stuff, the game of football, man. I know in Torrington, being there for a number of years, broadcasting for both the high school and the Torrington Titans, obviously people love their sports there, especially football. It's big. And for you, was football something that was kind of, did you gravitate to it at a young age in Torrington?
Yeah, for sure. So when I was growing up, I have an older brother, Phil. So he's 3 years older than me, and he started playing football right when you're able to, 7. So I just remember those memories of going to his practices every day, like watching him play. And like I have older cousins that are in their 30s now, so they're playing the Capitanios in Torrington. So they were playing in the early 2000s. I remember going to their high school games at Torrington. So like I've always been around football, and we've always been a big football family. So like when I turned 7 years old, I was like, let's go, let's play football. And I've kind of just fell in love with it ever since.
Now, obviously, I have not seen you since you graduated from Torrington, but just by looking at the tape from Stonehill and then watching some of your film from the Fan Control Football League, you're a massive guy. You're pretty big. I wouldn't want to mess with you. I wouldn't want to get you mad. But the reason why I ask you that is because were you that big when you were even 7, 8, 9 years old?
I was always a bigger kid, yes, for sure. But also I never played D line. I was always like kind of like a tight end linebacker, big but like skinny, lean kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Until I got into college, I started playing D line because that's when I really like bulked up. But yeah, I've always been on the bigger side for sure.
Do you think playing multiple positions at such a young age kind of helped your versatility as far as to, if anything, just to, basically try to keep yourself, I guess, I don't know if in shape is the right word, but just keep improving on footwork because you just never know what position you could have played as you progressed in your career.
Yeah. Yeah. So playing like different positions, exactly. Like you always want to be able to adapt to any position. You want to be a versatile player.
Mm.
So I've always just been trying to, stay in the best shape, like get as strong as possible, but also like maintaining my speed and footwork. That's like one of the biggest things in football that I like keep learning over the years is like you could be big and strong, but like if you can't move, it's not really helping you in much ways. So you got to keep up on speed and conditioning. And yeah, it's kind of just been my mindset.
Now, when you got to high school at Torrington, Torrington has a long, list of not just players who've been successful, but also too prior to you going there as well as success in the program. Your freshman year, man, just kind of take me into that. I mean, did you start out in varsity? Were you nervous as far as your freshman year? Just take me into that.
Yeah, so freshman year came along and I was nervous. Like I just wanted to prove myself. So obviously you start off with summer conditioning going into freshman year. So and I was always just that type to just go as hard as I can, just like, give it my all. And so I think coaches noticed that. Also, my brother was a senior playing football. So it was cool. Like that was my first time playing football with my brother. So I think going into my freshman year, I just wanted to like prove to myself and like everyone that like I could like play. So I just busted my ass and did my thing, and ended up starting my freshman year. Or not, I can't even remember. I definitely started some games, but I was always on like the varsity squad, and I got playing time a lot freshman year. And I definitely started some games. I don't know if it was all the games, but yeah.
Do you feel like that being able to play with your brother kind of helped in a lot of ways? Because especially being a freshman and, starting or not, you were on the varsity level, so you were there. So there's going to be struggles, or maybe there were times like, where you felt like no matter what I do, I just can't do this right. Was your brother an integral part for your development too through your freshman year?
Um, yes and no. So I think he like played QB a lot his senior year. So he was playing different positions. So I really learned from my position coaches in that sense, and like other seniors and upperclassmen that were in that position group. So they kind of like helped me build on my own skills. And
Hmm.
then, but I mean, just having my brother there in general was cool. And like he knew all the seniors, all his friends. So it was kind of like my in to the upperclassmen in a way. So like that, in a sense, was awesome.
Now, as you were, continuously growing in the program, obviously, when you think about, the most successful teams, typically there's a group of players. It could be freshmen, going into sophomore, junior, seniors, et cetera, so on and so on. Your class in particular had a very, not just talented group of players, but also ones that you felt like a couple years down the road, this team could be special. And that 2015, 2016 season, in this, only losing one game, and that was to Ansonia, but then getting to the quarterfinal, man. I mean, just take me into that, because that group of players, and you were a part of that, was something special for Torrington.
Yeah, 100%. So like my freshman class going into freshman year, we had a group of players that like my friend group that we've been with each other forever. Like we've been friends since like middle school, but even earlier, like elementary school. And we've been playing sports together for a long time, basketball, baseball. So we kind of had that chemistry, and we're all like pretty athletic, like loved sports. So like we knew we had like a good core group of players. And then some people get mad telling this story, but freshman year, the coaches were mad at like the upperclassmen for some reason, and they ended up doing a varsity scrimmage versus like the backups basically, and a lot of those backups were freshmen. So we kind of looked at it as like a freshman but like varsity scrimmage, and we ended up winning. I remember that. And that was freshman year, so that was cool, and that just shows like we had some really talented guys. So going into, I mean, we knew we had something special when we were going into like sophomore year. We transitioned to with the new coach, so that was an adjustment, learning the new offense. We didn't do great sophomore year, but I mean, again, we were so talented, and we were confident going into junior and senior year.
And the new coach is someone who I highly, highly respect, and is one of the most respected coaches in the game in Connecticut as far as football is concerned. But I think as a man too, Coach Gaetan Rodriguez. And I just want to ask you, because I know he's going to watch this. I told him I was having you on, and he was
Yeah,
hyped. You know,
yeah.
like what did Coach Gaetan mean to you as a player and as a young man who was continuously trying to find who he was as a person through high school?
Yeah. So Coach Gaetan, first of all, he was a great coach, and I think like we worked well together because we just had a mutual respect for each other. And that's why I like him a lot, because he like respects players. If you respect him, he'll respect you and treat you like a man. So me and him have always had a great relationship because I mean I consider myself a hard worker. I did everything right, like tried my best. So me and him always had great chemistry, and he was always there for me if I ever needed anything or advice. He was the guy to go to. So yeah, he was a great coach.
And the run that we talked about earlier, as far as only losing one game, and just to see the amount of success. I mean, I remember broadcasting the games for WAPJ, and just seeing all the people that were at the game. I remember the confetti poppers, because I remember my broadcast partner would talk about that too, and it would be all over. And it just seems like the energy was there, man. I mean, just talk to me about that year, because like you talked about, freshman, sophomore, new coach trying to, I mean, look, freshman versus the varsity basically, and you guys were
Yeah.
able to win. I mean, it just seems like it all came together that 2015, 2016 season.
Yeah, it really did because I mean, like 3-4 years before that consecutively, like Torrington had bad years, like and being such like we're known for like a football town, you know. So so yeah, going into 2015, 2016, it was kind of crazy when we went on that winning streak because there's so much hype behind Torrington, like Torrington's back, like football's here, like and each home game we got more and more people at the games and it was really awesome to see and it was like so exciting for everyone involved, like the school, football player, everyone. um yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it was great.
It was a fun season to be able to watch and see the players who I saw as freshmen grow. Also, to the
Yeah.
broadcast, it was even better, man. You know, what's even better too, and I think another notch is seeing players who have an opportunity to play at the next level. You were able to play at Stonehill. Did you ever think that college football would have been a part of your next, journey when you were younger? Did you ever think that?
Yes. Yeah, so it was definitely always in my mind. I yeah, I think once I hit high school and like just playing throughout those 4 years, it was really like set in my mind where like I want to, if I'm gonna go to college, I'm might as well play football anyways. Like so I'm going to play football. So that was always in the back of my mind. Yeah.
And another part to the comment about college too. I think, like you said, it's one of those things where you want to try to play as long as you can, which is what you're doing right now.
Mhm.
And the success that you had at Stonehill, uh you know does it ever, you know, looking at it now, when you think about kind of the opportunities? I know you and I were going back and forth about like why nobody has been able, like why didn't anybody latch on to you and give you that opportunity? Does that kind of give you extra motivation now being in the league, which we will be talking about in just a second?
Yeah, it gives me a lot of motivation because I mean I see myself as a top tier player. So it's like, I just every day I want to keep doing better and improving on myself, and knowing that like I'm the underdog kind of fuels me a little bit. Um, yeah,
Now, the Fan Control Football League, talk to me about how you were able to, because this is a new league. I think this is relatively new. If I'm wrong
yeah,
or correct, you could correct me.
second year. Yep.
Yeah. So, with that being said, uh, just kind of take me into how did you hear about it? How did you find it?
Yeah. So at Stonehill, Andrew Jamil, he's a year above me grade wise. He's a wide receiver at Stonehill, super successful football player there, broke all sorts of records. He Once he left Stonehill, he found FCF. I don't know how he did. So, but following Jamil, obviously, I was watching the league and seeing what's going on with that. So it got me familiar with the league. And then once I left college, looking for options, the agent I'm talking to, he was like, you should try out for this thing called Fan Control Football in Atlanta. I'm like, yeah, very familiar with it. My wide receiver friend goes there, and so yeah, I just tried out in Atlanta, and yeah,
And this league is not like, it's not like the XFL, it's not like the NFL where you're watching coaches call the plays. The fans are the ones picking the plays, correct?
yeah, so I could run you through it. It's a super interesting league, kind of crazy concept. So there's 8 teams in Fan Control Football, arena style, 7-on-7, 3 down O linemen. The outside O lineman could be exchanged for tight ends. So if you're that end, you could potentially guard a tight end on a route. So that's something I adjusted to. Learning how to cover again, like playing D line for so long. So that's something that's a little different. So yeah, 7-on-7, and then each play, fans will vote. So there's Twitch TV you could watch it on. There's a Fan Control Football app. They do stream it on certain channels on TV, but you can't vote on there. So you need the app. And then in between each play, 4 plays will pop up, like kind of like Madden looking plays with like lines, and fans will vote, and the highest percentage of votes that they run that play. And defense kind of has free range. Our defensive playbook's very limited, basic, but so we pretty much just run what we want. Fans don't vote on that. But yeah, I mean, fans vote on everything, like what players play on the team. It's interesting.
I'm not going to lie to you. I would love to see, and I told you this when you and I were texting back and forth. I would love to see a couple people from, like the coaches in the NVL. I can tell you right now, it would be one of these three things. It'd be the hammer formation for Mansonia, the single wing, which is ran by most, the wing T was by Naugatuck, single wing was Torrington. The old school offenses. I think fan control football would love to see that. No?
Yeah, they might. They might. They pass the ball a lot in this league, but they might. Shit.
I know it's a little old school, I know, but it is pretty fun to watch. I mean, as you would know.
We have some really good running backs in this league, and they would love that. I've seen some hurdles. There's been some good stuff. So yeah, they'd love to run that. I might have to talk to someone.
You may have to, man. But Nate, it's great to be able to have you on this podcast. It's awesome to be able to hear about a league that I think a lot of people don't know about. But I think hopefully after watching this, and who knows, maybe yourself and others can continuously, and I know you do, promoting this, because like you were telling me, Manziel was there early on. Terrell Owens, 48-year-old old butt who's as ripped as can be, is there, and he's probably making guys look silly.
Yeah. Kind of. That
kind of.
There's some there. I mean, it's good competition. It's arena, and yeah, he's doing well.
Now for yourself, man, and I know we talked about as far as opportunities. I know you're doing everything you can as far as to continuously show like, hey, I can play. I'm a guy. And I know you were telling me about the XFL having tryouts. I think it was in July. Is that something that you are thinking about right now, or is your mind 100% on fan control football from beginning, or rather middle, because you guys are in the middle of the season, until end, and then you'll worry about the tryout later on?
Yeah. So my mindset is obviously I want to do my best in FCF right now. It's a great opportunity to get better. There's great coaches, like ex-NFL players. So like there's opportunities all around me. So I'm just trying to absorb all that, get all that information in, and get better as a football player. Like it's cool that I'm able to play football right now and like continue crafting my skills and all that. But primarily now I'm just like, the XFL tryout's big. So my mind kind of has to turn to that and be like, how can I like be in best shape and ready for that once that happens? So it's kind of both. Like I want to do good in FCF. Obviously, I'm still gonna do my thing, but the XFL tryout's also huge. So I got to think about that. Definitely.
No, Nate, before I let you go, I know obviously there's an upcoming season for high school football in the NVL. Obviously, Torrington will be a part of that. Is there any message that you want to give to the Torrington Raiders or any NVL players who want to potentially play in college, or if they want to further their career after college? Any words of advice for them?
Yeah, so if you want to play football, then like simple answer is just do it. Like no excuses, just work your hardest and see what options come. I mean, I think that's pretty cliche to say work your hardest, but like genuinely work your hardest. Like do everything you can to better yourself, get in the weight room, work out, like do stuff every single day to better yourself as a football player. And before long people will recognize you and you'll be successful in your journey. So yeah, just keep working.
Nate, I wish you nothing but the best of luck as far as the rest of this season, and I hope that the tryout goes well. And I'm pulling for you as I would for anybody in Connecticut, but a little extra for the NVL guys. And I hope to be able to see you, because I know you have a dream, and I know you want to be able to get to that point. And keep working, man. And as they say, keep playing until they tell you that you can't play anymore. Basically,
yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen. Yeah.
But Nate, thanks so much for being able to come on. I really do appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. That wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm Roger, and find them all. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. and be well.